You guys want this video discussion talking about avatars and shit like that? We need to get this channel to 10,000 subscribers. We're close, I can taste it, but we can make our goal. Just remember guys, subscribe and we'll get some good shit rolling out. You never actually understand how much you suck at Vanguard until you don't playtest for a week. You put together a new Luard list. Your opponent is your friend who's playing the Witch Grade 3 Counter Blast 1 to call 2 Grade 0s. And because you haven't got to actually sit down and play, you just get shit on in the Luard mirror. The Luard mirror is pretty fucking disgusting. Fucking 35-minute game 1. Like, I ain't got no time for that shit. I don't think you guys do either. So as I said, you guys want this big old avatar discussion, we'll get this channel to 10,000 and we'll discuss it. This week, I just wanted to talk about general playtesting in Vanguard. I know a lot of you guys have been asking my opinion on the neatability of Sabris, and just general thoughts that go through my head with certain reasonings. First off, disclaimer, I'm not the best Vanguard player out there in the world. I do have theories as to certain things and the way I value things. During Revenger format, I got into a lot of fights with people on Vanguardians because I had a very strict mentality on how to play Revengers. And I think a lot of people still disagree with me for this mentality, but you play the deck as a rush deck. You power creep your opponent to the 5 damage. When you slam your Legion, hopefully on the first turn that you're going to 3, you should effectively be able to win the game. If not, you're going to be in a very bad situation. You know, Blaster Dark, Revenger, and Abyss are your control cards. Masquerades allow for the pressure. If you need to go into the Grim Recruiter turn, then you can pressure another Masquerade on a rear guard. A lot of people did not like that mentality. The deck is meant to be very aggressive, and I still think a lot of people don't understand that to this day. Gear Chronicle is another deck that can be aggressive, and this is what I really liked about Double TikTok. I miss Double TikTok. Double TikTok allowed you to push your opponent on the first Phoenix stride. Actually, at the Chicago event, where I could abuse Double TikTok, you typically would win on your first stride. You control the game state until you need to go. You resolve Double TikTok. You punch your opponent in the face 6 to 9 times, ... depending. And I really like the control aggressive decks. There's not very many of them in Vanguard. Actually, hell, Blaster, Revenger, Dark, whatever the fuck it was, and then Gear Chronicle's kind of been it. You know, Gear Chronicle's not as aggressive as it once was. It's been more of a control deck, you know, for the time being. So, you know, you can still be aggressive, but you can get punished for it very easily. Now, on to the Sabris question I was asked. They were asking, hey Robbie, do you think Sabris should be valued in a deck? Yes. I think Sabris is a card that players need to play around. Now, technically you can make the argument of having a Sabris in your deck is as good as not having a Sabris in your deck, because what if you're outside of your playtest group that knows every fucking thing that you're doing, that will play around you because they're a big fucking pile of assholes? Yeah, I'm talking to you, Austin. You know what you do when we playtest. You know, Sabris is one of those cards you go into an event and you're like, alright, so if my opponent has a Sabris here, I'm fucked. And you make the optional play of deciding to play around the Sabris. What if your opponent doesn't have the Sabris? Some days it might be worth it to take the pressure, because a lot of people have made the comment that they don't have room for Sabris. Sabris in pretty much every build is something that I try to make room for. Granted, it's not always needed, but being able to turn on GB1 for what skills you have to be able to play the game, I definitely would consider pretty valuable. You know, don't even get me started on how to play against 7 Seas Rush. That's a Ask Robbie next week question. So, valuing your cards. Oh my god. This is one of the reasons why I actually really enjoyed referencing the Revenger deck. I miss Revengers. They were power creeped so hard. But they were a deck that could provide you powerful card effects for retiring, and you got one hell of a retarded restander. Oh my god. Whatever threat your opponent would put on the board to counter rush you, you could just clean up with Free Blast or Dark Counter Blast. Don't even get me started on how shitty Mordred is as a card. I fucking hate that goddamn card. But once again, they're all decks that complement your playstyle. Granted, I have access to pretty much everything in this game. There's still certain decks that I don't like touching. We have a Great Nature is a good example of that. Great Nature I throw into a corner every time we build it because it's not my thing, man. Great Nature, it's a good deck. I understand it. It's not Robbie Cole. So, it's very important. I have a friend actually that's going to come over sometime next week that wants to learn how to play the game. He wants to get back into the game. Bunny ears. So, he was like, what should I invest in? I'm like, dude, you need to come over to my place. You need to sit down. You need to read everything. You need to play with us for a few hours before you even invest in a deck. I don't know what you're going to enjoy. Just because it looks good on paper, it might not be you. He's on a $300 budget. I don't want him foolishly wasting money on something that he's not going to like. And, not every person has that luxury, but most people would agree that if you're going to get into something, play test it. And that's where card value mint comes into play. Chrono Jet Dragon, good example. Do we waste the counterblast to spin? Do we spin the starter? Is the Crayon Tiger more of a threat? Do I need to take care of, whatever else X scenario is up? Majority of your matchups, you should know what's going on, what threats should be happening. Obviously, Vanguard, unfortunately, is a game of very, very trigger-happy people. I've met some of the best trigger whisperers in my life. Some people, I swear, they fucking actually have Psyqualia. Oh, sorry guys, too anime. I'm toning it down. But, yeah man, fucking, when you go, alright, cool, I'm gonna no-guard, His Majesty Lord Blaster. You gotta get double crit to kill me, and then Scotch just gets punched in the face for 2 criticals, at 2 damage. Unfortunately, there's just some fucking things that happen in this game, So, some days, it's risk versus reward. Other days, life just fucking happens, man. I can't stress the trigger imbalance in this game, but, we play this game. We all know that Vanguard is a game that is very luck-based at times. You can control a lot more elements than I originally gave this game credit for. Your grade 2 ratios, what effective strides you're playing. I remember when this community was pissed as fuck that the G zone was going from 8 to 16. I remember. You guys remember? Oh man, it's been so long. Now you get a little bit more creativity to explore your resources. You get the chance to effectively decide what you want to do. So, guys, remember, when it comes to deck building, I think it's very important to put emphasis on necessary combo cards and control cards. And you guys need to understand that if you're playing this game, your combo cards are meant to be combo cards. This is something that I've got punished for over all of these years playing this game. I like to be aggressive when I'm playing random-ass decks, so I'll fucking throw like a Crayon Tiger out in the front row on grade 2. And then my opponent will go, oh fuck, he's got a Crayon Tiger, and then they'll start going after the little guy. So, it's very important to understand that combo pieces, 9 times out of 10, granted, some scenarios, it's not always true. Once again, that comes down to card value, the situation, and things like that. Is the resource expendable? Do we have extras of those? I've caught myself throwing down a History Maker at grade 2 and rushing down my opponent. Seemed like a good idea at the time, but unfortunately then it becomes a chum block, which can damage deny you, which can limit some of your plays later in the game. So if your opponent is needlessly rushing you at grade 2, not playing 7 Seas Rush, you definitely should ask yourself, is it important? Do I need to answer this situation? Look at new Night Rose, for example. If you guys have been paying attention to the OCG meta, you guys will know that Night Rose is about to become borderline tier 0. It's like tier 0.5, and my one friend keeps telling me the blaster checks the deck. I disagree because fucking Negro Lazy into the Skull guy to pop shit. It's really fucking good. You know, like, their defense play is pretty insane. I guess Gear Chronicle can also check it because LOL had her around on the Blaster Blader that's about to, you know, come in here with Twin Drive. You know, these two decks effectively should be able to handle a lot of the situations that are going on. Granted, the American metagame seems to be very weird. Granted, like I was talking about earlier for Luard, you know, some of our builds are very different from Japan. And if you're looking at the Florida build, I believe, was covered last week on YouTube. I don't remember where. You guys should be able to find it if you're looking for it. It was a little bit different than what we're used to. Granted, like, the mentalities for Luard are you playing 8 10Ks? Are you playing 5 with the Hoel engine? Or are you playing the extreme 12K with no more Fessa? The deck has a lot of really cool integral parts to it. And I definitely kind of really like that about Luard post GB10. The fact that you have a little bit cog in, a little bit of machine room. No, granted, we're always just cogs in the big machine of life, but you have a lot of maneuverability. I think that's something I really like about Luard. Something that we need to figure out more playtesting. I'm gonna have to grind out the 2-hour mirrors for Luard for playtesting here, just for general playability. It's very important that you guys realize as well when you're playtesting Vanguard. Vanguard takes a little bit more time than Yu-Gi-Oh! To playtest. Granted, I can probably get done as many games of Yu-Gi-Oh! Probably 4 or 5 games in a solid hour, depending on if I'm scooping, playing against my friends, seeing if I'm opening up what I need to open up, as opposed to a game of Vanguard where, you know, if we both open up optimal, we're going to be there. So your test ratio is very weird. So next week we'll probably either touch on the Avatar video, or I know someone else was asking about possible discussion, talking about how Konami and Vanguard handle things differently. Be a very excellent topic, but we'll see. So guys, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Hope you guys enjoyed this Tuesday discussion. Till next week, Deuce Arena.